how to use Google Ads for beginners in 2025, step by step. Let's get into today's video. Hey there, and welcome to a Google Ads tutorial for beginners updated for 2025. Now I'm going to go through this step by step, and I just wanted to show you this is what you can do. This is sort of what you'll see. You can see that this has, whatever today's last 30 days is, including as of today being the 8th of July. You can see here this is an e-commerce brand. You can see that the conversion value over cost is 12.38. Cost is, this is in Australian, $2,200. The cost per conversion is $38.38, pardon me. And the value is $27,000. So absolutely insane amount of return on investment. And it comes from two campaigns. And honestly, not a huge amount of change, and that's not what you should really do. I'm going to talk to you a bit today about how to set this up. This will be focused on e-commerce, but this is relatable to any brand. The only real difference, if it's for e-com as opposed to, let's say, lead generation for like service-based businesses, is the fact that your campaign objective will be different. Obviously, URL is always going to be different, and a few unique settings in your campaign will be different, but fundamentally that's how that is. I am not heavily into lead generation. I do for SaaS as well as e-com, so I'll just be perfectly transparent there. My strategy is not 100% around that, so I just wanted to be transparent on that. But you can get results like this. You'll see just a different, slightly different dashboard where you can change all of these, and you can say, is it leads? Like, what was my CTR for last month? 4%, which is fantastic. Averaged, wait, no, wrong one. And you can have a look at all of this. So how many conversions did I get? So this is where you would change it. Purchases, sales is for e-com. Sign-ups is like for SaaS. Downloads also sort of SaaS depending on your type of product, but leads as well. So I don't know, no leads because that's not my business model. If I go purchases though and have a look, for some reason it's not saying purchases, sales. That is bizarre. But you can have a look at all of these. As I said, you won't need most of it. You use the main recommended ones anyway, because that's mainly what you sort of look at when you come to this. You can look at entire videos on all of this and how this works. Okay, so I'm just going to go straight into that today. Let's go into a strategy. I've got a flow and can sort of teach you a bit about it as we sort of reverse engineer this to give a bit more context. So let's get straight into it. So I just made a Miro board for the sake of this video. This will be in the description. Use it as you see fit. So this tutorial we're going to talk about two campaigns, search and performance max. It's honestly all you need. Most businesses really only use search and performance max, and honestly probably in the next number of years you might not even need a specific search campaign. You'll probably just need performance max, but I could be horribly wrong. But let's explore that in just a moment. Search campaigns are great for local businesses. Brand search campaigns is mainly what I use search campaigns for. I don't do a lot of cold, especially in e-com via search ads. They don't work that well. You mainly run it for brand search, and you mainly run what's called shopping ads in performance max, and I'll explain a bit more about that in a moment. You do need to set up your conversion tracking. If you're running on Shopify, it couldn't be any easier. There's a Google Ads sales channel. Just go on the App Store, Google Ads, you install it, follow the setup. You will need a merchant center. You will need Google Analytics, and obviously then your Google Ads, right? All three of those are free. Just go set them up. You use the Google Merchant Center to push your catalog of products there, because each country, your SKUs have to be individually approved. Different countries have different legislations on what's approved or not through the shopping network. Then you have your Google Analytics, which if you're running any business, you should have a Google Analytics V4. It's free, set it up. It just gets your analytics, especially as you grow. It can be extremely useful. And then obviously your Google Ads. So you get your Google Ad ID. Your Google Ad ID is up the top right. But you can connect your account and it'll just pull it all in, right? So if you're not doing that, I strongly recommend, if you're like a lead gen services type business, you'll either just use the straight conversion tracking within Google Ads, which I'll show you just in a moment, just so you know where it is, or I personally recommend Google Tag Manager, which is another free tool. It is a bit more advanced, so I just want to sort of put that there. That's my preference, but in Google Ads, you can use the conversion tracking. So, all right, so I've got the list of keywords. You can see there's tons here, right? And that's why you want to narrow it down. you want to look at average monthly searches. So preferably you want ones with a good amount of search, right? Let's say in this example, I'd want 5,000. So let's just choose these two. They're high, they've got a good amount of search volume, they're not stupidly expensive. And then what I do is I'll go across here. Whoops, I didn't want to do all of that, did I? Just the keywords, not everything else with it. Wrap keywords, and then you can copy them. Now, very important, as I said, about conversion tracking, this is where you can sort of do that. You also got consent, which is another very important thing. You should make sure to fill that out. If you ever get audited and stuff, and your campaigns might stop running if that is the case, okay? So let's go and make a new campaign. You can make it a number of ways. We're going to run sales. You can either run any of these depending on your business. We're running it as sales because this is sort of more as a test. Obviously leads, get more leads, drive more sales. If you're running an app, Google on the App Store, so like, if I was running an app, or do I want engagement, get existing users to take action, pre-registration or app installs, right? So let's go with the sales. Then you choose your conversion tracking. I'm just going to remove that one. So we have one, it's just a test one. All your goals, you can have multiple goals, right? So different businesses can have multiple goals for tracking of that. We go continue, and this is where you can choose all of these. Now, I don't use demand gen, drive demand and conversions on YouTube, Discover, and Gmail. I just pretty much run this one, which is basically what most people sort of do nowadays from what I observe. It basically combines display, shopping, search, and video all in one. The only one you don't have would be Gmail, but I don't personally use that much. So you go Performance Max. This is where you want to say, you don't have to, but naturally if you're running e-com, you would want to choose your merchant center. Where should people go after clicking your ad? We'll put the URL, give it a name. I call it PMax. PetSmart. Continue. This is where it's going to try and recommend that you do that. So we go start new. Your bidding again is conversions or conversion value. I just go conversions in this case. You don't want to put on for adjust your bidding to acquire more new customers, is what I do, at least in the beginning. Obviously you choose your country, let's just choose Canada. Languages, you choose your language. You can check your scheduling settings. You can go brand exclusions. So, what I mean by that is that you might have a brand exclusion list that's your search campaign, where you just basically add your brand keywords, right? So that doesn't cause any overlap. Just a simple thing there. Use the keyword wrapper, type the name of your brand, put it there, and add those as the keywords. All other settings you don't really need to worry about unless you've got specific age-related issues, but otherwise most of the time you don't really touch it. You can see with the asset generation, it's using the Google Gemini that always sort of helps with this. It pulls in a lot about the business, the keywords, and you can either skip or you can generate assets. I personally generate the assets and then I edit it anyway because the goal is there to save a bit of time. So you can see it's pulled in the logo. You want to call it AG1. Business name, again, PetSmart. I just realized that I've done Performance Max rather than search, but fundamentally it is the same. And you can see then it's pre-filled all of this. Now these are not well optimized in many respects. You do want to manually go through these and just make sure you check, right? So you can see here that, it shows in Gmail, it shows in Discover, which is sort of display, but a little bit further. You got YouTube, display, and search. Now it doesn't show shopping because I don't have a merchant center connected, but you can see how this pretty much combines most things. You can generate more headlines, and then you can make more long headlines. I might make a video on the best way to make your headlines and stuff. As I said, I use ChatGPT because I like to be specific. I make my own GPT per business that speaks about business so that the branding is more on point, is what I would recommend. You got your long headlines, so it's got short headlines or normal headlines, and then long headlines for different placements, and you can add up to 5. I try and recommend adding all 5, and then same with descriptions. Now with the descriptions, make sure you add things like benefits of your business, 24/7 support, contact us, about us, over 10,000 customers, all things that are benefits to your business with the descriptions as well. And your very popular catalogs works quite well. Images, as you can see, it's just, I'm just going to choose that image. But again, with images, I recommend still doing that manually using tools like Canva or Graphic Designer that can help you with it. Videos, if you've got your YouTube channel connected, you can also do videos, so you can show on the YouTube network, which is fantastic. You got your site links, it pulls in that, but you can add more. Site link are just extensions to go to different parts of your website. I always recommend using them. And then you've got call out extensions as well. That you can add to, which are different asset types. Always try and use call out extensions. Depending on your business, if you're a service, add calls, promotions if you're running a specific promotion and stuff as well. As you can see, it starts with site link, but you can add more as well. Call to action I actually do leave as automated with Google, even in ecom, you just sort of leave it there. And then you've got your signals. So your signals, you add your search terms, or you can use an audience signal. You can use a saved audience signal, or there's additional ones as well where you can look at demographics, interests and stuff as well. So it's all so your data is like remarketing, similar audiences, lookalikes and stuff. Search themes are just various search keywords that you're looking to do, and then you've got interests. Now this is sort of the old one. Google has added this more in as well, so that's why this is updated. But you might want to add some in-market dog food, raw dog food, pet dog food. There you go, we've got that. So you can add as many as you want. You can actually do all of these if you want, but what I generally personally do is I get very confused otherwise, is I will have this exact same asset group but the different targeting. Sort of similar how I do Facebook, where I would keep everything the same, but one thing that might be different would be the targeting. So I might run interest and detailed demographics for this one, and then another one I might run search themes. Okay, that's just sort of how I do it as well. And then another one, if I want, I will make as similar audiences, or another one as remarketing audiences. That way I can just custom tailor it. That's sort of how I personally recommend doing it. You can combine all of this and it does a fantastic job, but one of the problems that you'll have Performance Max is you can't see a lot of drill down data. So I've found that making a lot of asset groups, because you can make lots of asset groups, which is like the same, similar as an ad group, fundamentally is much the same. And you can see we're nearly done, and then we just need to choose budget, whatever the budget is. Next, and you can see you'll get a preview, la 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 la, and obviously I'm not going to go ahead with it anyway, it won't even work. But that's pretty much it for a Performance Max. It's very similar for a search. So let's go back. I did it in reverse order. Whoops, I will discard. So if I want to run a new campaign, I will run campaign without guidance. You go search. Again, for the sake of this, I'm just going to remove that one so we only have one goal. It's just a test one that was made. Website visits. Campaign name. So I call this brand search, because as I said, I mainly run it as search. Start new. Conversions, so you can leave it as clicks. If you're running a cold campaign, you would run it as clicks. If you're running it as brand search for e-commerce, you would run conversions, is what I would recommend. Again, I don't recommend changing that. Now I recommend the search partner, not the display, because you're running Performance Max, so you don't need that on. Again, choose your country, choose your language. You can run your audience segments, so select the audience that you want to add to this campaign. So again, it's sort of dependent, right? Is this a cold campaign? Is this not? Because this is setting it up as a brand search, I'm going to set it up as that. We don't want broad match types. I personally don't really like that. I've found that it's been nothing but chaotic for me personally. Again, you got your brand keywords as well, so you can exclude that as well if you want, because if you're running multiple searches, but we don't really need that. Most of the other settings you don't really need to look at. You go next. Again, doing the same thing, as you can see, generate. There we go, and it has then, you've now got your first ad group And it keeps doing that. It's just a safety precaution, but you can change the keywords. So as I said, this is where I actually changed the keywords. And you can see that what I'm going to do is apply, update, yes, replace. So as I said, I just basically would go through this and then I try and just let it sort of do its thing. It might take a moment. No keywords found for dry food. Enter keyword, yeah. Can't say I've had this error before. You can see it's made the ad and then it's regenerating. This is where it can be a bit buggy and why at times you still need to go through it, right? Most of the time this has worked fine for me. With your display path, if you're running a brand search, you don't need a display path. If you're running cold, you will look at display path. Maybe it's to a specific catalog, might be dry food, okay? And then, you look at all these again, okay? So again, if you're running brand search, make sure you have your brand name in here. It makes a massive difference for your click-through and conversions. And then show again the benefits. You got your site links and then you got your call out. You can see that one of the differences between this and Performance Max is call out. So a call out extension, if I'm to click this, gives more detail about your business, regular updates, and you can use these across multiple, right? So save, and then it uses more space. You want to try and use everything as relevant and as much space as possible again. And then you got things like structured snippets, lead form, apps, so on and so forth. So the more you can add to your campaign, the more space you'll use, the more conversions you're going to get. Okay, so again, has it done anything up top here? No, it's still bugging out. So let's just save, continue. You can create manually as well, but as I said, I just use this to sort of speed it up and help, and then I manually edit it. You got your budget next, and then you got your preview page. You can see how it's nearly the exact same, but just a few steps at the beginning is a little bit different. So you just need to understand the core objectives of your specific business. And then fundamentally, as you can see, Google Ads have streamlined everything where it's like 95% the same and 5% different, right? They're really trying to make it very easy. I should add as well, you've also got a chat that will help you, like an AI bot chat as well. And you will get reps that will reach out to you that they have to try and help with that. This is your Google Ad account ID up the top here as well, that you can use for reference for various things and integrations and stuff too. So that pretty much explains it. As I said, I'll have this in here, so it's just an overview. I just made it for the sake of this video. Just use it as you sort of see fit. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment if you have any questions down below. That really helps support the channel. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time. Have a lovely day. Take care and goodbye.